Good morning, students. Today's lecture it's about the plantar arteries and the plantar arch, because we have the two plantar arteries branches from the posterior tibial artery supplying the sole of the foot, okay, and the arch formation by the lateral plantar artery. So that's about the today's class. So before going to the topic, so briefly about what is sole of the foot. So the foot has got two aspects, of course, the dorsal aspect and the sole of the foot. So in the last class, we discussed about the muscles of the sole, so arranged in 4 layers underneath the plantar aponeurosis. And today's class it's about the neurovascular bundle. Of course, mainly we are concentrating on the vessels, the arteries supplying the sole of the foot. So what is skin over the sole of the foot? It is a thick skin and which is hairless. So it is called, otherwise called, glabrous, and firmly bonded down to the underlying deep fascia by the numerous fibrous bands. It shows a few flexures, creases at the site of the skin movements, and the sweat glands, of course, they are more in the thick skin. Hope you know the difference between thick skin and thin skin. So coming to the nerve supply of the skin, it is supplied by the medial calcaneal branch of tibial nerve, which is the territory of this nerve. It supplies the medial side of the heel, and the medial plantar nerve that innervates the medial 2/3 of the sole, and the lateral plantar nerve which innervates the lateral 1/3 of the sole. Okay, so that's about the cutaneous innervation of the sole of the foot. Hope you are aware about the cutaneous innervation of the dorsum of the foot also. That's very important. Short notes. Supplied by the sural nerve, saphenous nerve, of course superficial peroneal nerve, and the interdigital cleft. So very small area supplied by the deep peroneal nerve. So that's a skin over the dorsum of the foot, and here comes the skin over the sole of the foot, which is thick skin. So there it is a thin skin. So that's the difference between the sole of the foot and the dorsum of the foot. So coming to the important arteries in the sole, so we have the medial plantar and the lateral plantar arteries. They are branches from the posterior tibial artery. So the posterior tibial artery, so that supplies the back of the leg, accompanies the tibial nerve, and of course it enters the sole underneath the flexor retinaculum, so over in the medial aspect of the ankle joint. So there is a retinaculum, the deep fascia modification, that stretches between the medial malleolus to the tubercle of the calcaneum. So underneath this, the neurovascular bundle, so we have the posterior tibial artery and the tibial nerve. So these two enters the sole. The posterior tibial artery, it bifurcates into medial plantar and lateral plantar arteries. So come to the medial plantar artery. So it arises from the posterior tibial artery. Of course, one among the two terminal branches of posterior tibial artery. So that is a medial plantar and lateral plantar. So it is a posterior tibial artery. So there is a small correction there in this slide. It is not nerve, posterior tibial artery. So the course of the posterior medial plantar artery, okay, it enters the foot midway between the medial malleolus and the medial tubercle of the calcaneum. Of course, these two are very important bone landmarks that gives attachment to the flexor retinaculum and at the cover of flexor retinaculum. So passes forwards deep to the abductor hallucis muscles. So the first layer of the sole muscles. So we have abductor hallucis and abductor digiti minimi, so along with the flexor digitorum brevis. I hope it is clear for you in the last class about the muscles. So then it accompanies the two venae comitatis. The medial plantar nerve runs along its lateral side. So the medial plantar and lateral plantar nerves, the branches from the tibial nerve. So that is the course of medial plantar artery accompanying the medial plantar nerve. Okay, and how it terminates. The termination of the plantar artery, it terminates by anastomosing with the first plantar metatarsal artery. Okay, so that is the termination of the medial plantar artery. So throughout its course. So what are the branches it gives? So we have the muscular branches that gives that supplies the surrounding muscles, and the distal branches, so it gives the three superficial distal branches. These branches are end by anastomosing with the first, second and third plantar metatarsal arteries. So that is the termination, of course, the branches given by the medial plantar artery in the sole of the foot. So that's about the medial plantar artery, its course and termination. So which is a branch from the terminal branch from the posterior tibial artery. And the next artery from the posterior tibial artery, so we have the lateral plantar artery. So this is very important artery. It's going to form the arch here. The plantar arch formation is mainly so by means of the lateral plantar artery. So it is also the one among the terminal branches from the posterior tibial artery. So the course at first it lies between the first and second layers, then curves medially between the third and fourth layers of the sole. So hope you know the first layer of the sole, so which is formed by these three muscles, so two abductors with the flexor digitorum brevis, and the second layer, so that is formed by the two tendons, so the tendons of flexor digitorum, flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus. Of course, very important muscle. There comes the flexor digitorum accessorius, otherwise called quadratus plantae. So in between these two layers, so then it curves medially between the third and fourth layer, in the sole. So the lateral plantar artery, it lies along the lateral plantar nerve, it lies along the lateral plantar artery on its medial side. So that's about the course of the lateral plantar artery in the sole. You can see the diagram nicely here. So where the lateral plantar artery, so how it terminates, so the termination is very important, so where it is going to form the plantar arch here. So it turns medially, so you can see in the diagram. So this is the lateral plantar artery, which is taking the lateral deviation towards the lateral aspect of the sole, and so this artery, it turns medially with the deep branch of lateral plantar nerve with slightly forward convexity, the forward convexity to form the lateral plantar, the plantar arch. You can see the arch formation here. So this is the arch formed by the lateral plantar artery between the third and the fourth layer of the muscles. So the fourth layer and the third layer, in between these two layers, the plantar arch. Of course, in some textbooks, the neurovascular bundle including, so there are all 6 layers in the sole. 6 layers in the sole. So the second layer, if you can consider the neurovascular, the medial plantar vessels and nerves, lateral plantar vessels and nerves, and the fifth layer is plantar arch. So if you include these 2 layers, so then altogether we have 6 layers underneath the plantar aponeurosis. But many of the basic textbooks, it is only 4 layers, only the muscles are considered. So that's about the plantar arch, so that lies between the third and fourth layer. Then the plantar arch formation here, you can see nicely. So this is the schematic diagram, so that shows how the plantar arch is being formed by the lateral plantar artery, and giving the metatarsal arteries, the plantar metatarsal arteries, of course, that again bifurcates into the plantar distal arteries. So that we'll discuss in the next slide. So the branches from the lateral plantar artery, so we have so that supplies the surrounding muscles, and also it gives the anastomotic branches. The anastomotic branches of arcuate and lateral dorsal arteries of the dorsalis pedis. Of course, these branches that anastomose with the arcuate artery, so which is branched from the dorsalis pedis in the dorsum of the foot, and also the lateral dorsal and lateral dorsal and medial dorsal. Of course, the lateral branches also, but here the lateral dorsal that anastomose with the lateral plantar artery, not the medial dorsal. Of course, the dorsalis pedis, hope is it clear for you, that is the continuation of antitibial artery. It gives medial dorsal and lateral dorsal. Sometimes it is medial malleolar, lateral malleolar also, and then after giving these 2 branches, it gives arcuate artery. arcuate artery. So here the lateral plantar artery, it anastomoses with the branches from the lateral dorsal and the arcuate artery. Okay, so that's about the lateral plantar artery anastomosing branches. And the posterior perforating arteries, so the three branches which ascends through the proximal ends of the second, third and fourth interosseous spaces to anastomose with the dorsal metatarsal arteries. Okay, so that's about the posterior perforating arteries anastomosing with the dorsal metatarsal arteries. Dorsal metatarsal arteries of the dorsal metatarsal arteries, they are branches from the arcuate artery. So arcuate artery in turn, it is branched from the dorsalis pedis in the dorsum of the foot. Okay, so that's why these are called perforators. The perforators that connects the the dorsal metatarsal and the plantar metatarsal arteries. Okay, so that is the significance of the perforators. And also the plantar distal artery to the lateral side of the little toe from the beginning of the arch, because this artery is a direct branch from the lateral plantar artery. So that is the plantar distal artery, so you can see in the diagram. So this branch, of course, this branch. Okay, so to the lateral toe, okay, I mean the little toe, sorry, to the little toe. So the distal branch is a direct branch from the lateral plantar artery, but if you see the other toes, the distal branches, they are from the metatarsal arteries. Okay, so we have four metatarsal arteries, 1, 2, 3, 4 metatarsal arteries. Each again it divides into the plantar distal arteries, and of course supplies the sides of the two toes. These plantar metatarsal arteries supply the adjacent sides of the sides between the second, third, fourth toes. So before it divides into the plantar distal arteries, each plantar metatarsal artery sends an anterior perforating artery to join the corresponding dorsal metatarsal arteries. So altogether, so we have the posterior perforator arteries. So this is a posterior perforator. So here comes so this is a posterior perforator, and here comes the anterior perforator. So before it gives the distal arteries, you can see here the metatarsal arteries. So it is giving before it gives the metatarsal arteries, I mean the distal arteries, it gives anterior perforators at this area, so that anastomose with the dorsal metatarsal branches from the arcuate artery over the dorsum. So that way, so we have the anterior perforating arteries, posterior perforating arteries. Okay, so already we discussed the posterior perforating arteries. So this is the posterior perforating arteries, and here comes the anterior perforating arteries. Okay, so the anterior perforating arteries, before the metatarsal, plantar metatarsal, it divides into plantar distal. So the terminology is very important here. So where it is metatarsal, where it is distal. Okay, and the metatarsals, the four plantar metatarsal arteries branches from the arch. So that is the significance of the arch. So after giving these branches, the lateral plantar artery, it joins with the dorsalis pedis. Of course, you can see here this area. So this area, it is taking a dip, and thereby it joins with the dorsalis pedis. So dorsalis pedis, that takes a dip between the first interdistal cleft and joins with the lateral plantar artery. So thereby the anastomosis between the anterior tibial artery and posterior tibial artery in the sole of the foot. Hope is it clear to you? The anterior tibial artery continues as the dorsalis pedis. It gives medial tarsal, lateral tarsal, and then comes forward and gives arcuate artery. So after giving the arcuate artery, it takes a dip between the first metatarsal cleft, and thereby it continues with the lateral plantar artery in the sole. So thereby the completion of the arch. So the plantar arch, it continues with the dorsalis pedis. Okay, so the plantar arch is formed by the lateral plantar artery, and of course it is completed by the dorsalis pedis. Dorsalis pedis. So that's about the plantar arch formation and the branches from the plantar arch. So we have so these branches. You can see the branches here, mainly here. Of course, the plantar distal artery to the little toe is a direct branch from the plantar arch. Of course, the remaining toes, so they are from the plantar metatarsal arteries. We have 4 plantar metatarsal arteries given by the arch, plantar arch. Okay, so that again further it divides into the plantar distal arteries. So before it divides into plantar distal arteries, that gives perforators. What are those perforators called? Anterior perforating arteries. So that joins with the corresponding the dorsal metatarsal arteries of the dorsum of the foot. So thereby, so the anastomosing between the metatarsals, the dorsal metatarsals, which are branches from the arcuate artery, the plantar metatarsals, which are branches from the plantar arch. Okay, so that's about the lateral plantar artery and its significance. It forms the plantar arch in the sole of the foot. Of course, in some textbooks, the plantar arch is considered as the 5th layer of the sole. The second layer of the sole, we have the medial plantar vessels and nerves, lateral plantar vessels and nerves, together called second layer. Okay, and the 5th layer, if you consider the neurovascular bundle as layers, then altogether we have 6 layers underneath the plantar aponeurosis. Hope is it clear for you, the neurovascular bundle. And the today's class, which we concentrated mainly on the 2 important arteries in the sole, so the medial plantar artery and the lateral plantar artery. The lateral plantar artery, so that is going to form the arch, and the arch completion by joining with the dorsalis pedis. So that's about the arch formation. So what is the applied anatomy? So the applied anatomy of the medial and lateral plantar arteries, the arteries in the sole. So they have got the extensive, extensive communication with the dorsal arteries by means of perforators. So any injury to these arteries, it is very difficult to ligate the arteries. Okay, so that is the reason popliteal artery should be ligated. So in this case, any injuries, so you have to tie the popliteal artery to stop the hemorrhage in the sole. Okay, so it is very difficult to tie the plantar arteries in the sole, because they have got extensive the anastomotic channels, like we have seen the anterior perforators, posterior perforators. Okay, so that is the reason, instead of ligating these arteries, so we can ligate the popliteal artery to stop bleeding in the sole. So that is the clinical aspect, so in relation to the plantar arteries in the sole. So that's about today's class. Thank you for your patience listening.